I'm on the drugs right now. I can use your love right now. But instead they trying to tear me down. I'm just trying to.
All right, I don't remember exactly where we were, but I know we're about to roll into
Some serious shit.
Yeah, so we can go serious hour, man. I hate to get like this, but it's time.
Yeah.
So y'all know the story, man. So Brooklyn police officer shot Daunte Wright. He was a black man, unarmed, who was basically shot in the car with his girlfriend sitting next to him. The police officer said she mistaked her gun for a taser. There's a body cam video out where you can see it all unfolding. And since then, why don't we just talk about that just off the rip, about the whole incident? What did y'all feel just learning about what had happened prior to? We have more information now on what's happened since then, but what were your thoughts just seeing this situation of she thought it? And did you guys watch the body cam?
Yeah.
So after you'd first seen heard about it and then seen the body cam, what were your immediate reactions?
So my thing was, I didn't even look into it. All I saw was like, oh, more riots in Minnesota, and I was like, why? I was like, what happened? Then I saw the body cam footage, so I didn't really get the emotion, the emotional, I guess, spin on the story that came out, or even the story at all. So I'm just watching the body cam, and it's definitely sad to watch. You know what I mean? Like the fact that, and again, I'm just coming into it without knowing everything, but like it's like, bro, don't run. Like, why do we always seem like we're trying to resist or fucking run away? Like, that's already not a good look. But as a cop, I saw the video and you could see like she took one shot and said, "Oh shit," pretty much, like I shot him. It was like you kind of saw it on her, like everybody kind of knew like I fucked up. It was like I instantly fucked up. So it wasn't like she premeditated like, oh, I'm just gonna kill somebody today. Mm-hmm. But as a cop, you have to do way better of a job. If we're fucking paying you as a public servant to serve the people and help people out, resisting arrest does not mean that you should die. You know what I mean? And again, I know it's an accident, but something like that is like, we kind of hold you to the same esteem of like a doctor in a sense, but only you have a gun. You literally have a gun versus like a needle or surgery. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I felt like she had the gun in her hand for a good maybe like 5-10 seconds. You can see in
the video, she's yelling taser,
and then shot him. You know what I mean? So it's like, but even if you do have adrenaline rushing and stuff like that, how do you not know it's a gun in your hand? Like, you don't see that's steel in front.
They specifically make them. The tasers are specifically supposed to feel different, and you never put it on your dominant side. Yeah. They're supposed to feel clearly different so that mistake isn't made.
Exactly.
She is a 26-year vet, and she's a training officer as well.
26.
Right. So it's like that's negligence. Like, you know what I mean? So that's the part that's really disgusting about it. It's just like but it's hard. Like, you can't. I'm not mad at her, but it's like, damn, bro, you fucked up.
I think that's the thing with this one that left me kind of mixed emotions, because I can see the video. It does. I mean, we see so many racist cops. We see power-hungry cops. We see pride-oriented cops. This did seem like a mistake. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't fault someone if they were tasing a guy who was struggling at the time. I mean, that's what I put it this way. Cops are trained. Part of their training is to de-escalate and get people who are resisting. Too often, when black people are the ones resisting, they're the ones that end up getting killed. Yeah. So it's like if I'm a security guard in a club. My job is to usher people. If they get into fights, I'm supposed to be able to break that up and get them out of there. That's like I knock a dude out, and then I'm like, oh, well, why was he starting up a fight in here? Well, your fucking job is to de-escalate that and keep him safe and get him out of here. So I don't have that much sympathy in that regard. But then this scenario, it did look like I mean, immediately after you can see her reaction. So I'm not one of the people that are saying no, it wasn't a mistake. It was a ridiculous one. Mm-hmm. But I think my bigger takeaway of it is, I think, because police officers, they always feel attacked, right? They feel like, you guys think we're all bad and they don't get it. This BLM thing is this. I think it needs to be understood, and the police chief came out and talked about it, but it needs to be understood of, y'all are not perfect. Mm-hmm. You just had a cop shoot a guy because she thought she was pointing a taser at him and shot him. Like, you cannot pretend like your cops are perfect. The world is too big. And all right, are we in a room where we're saying all cops are bad?
No.
Okay, so all right, exactly the way. So we're not. None of us are feeling that way.
No.
So basically, the world is big, right? Humans all over. Humans are not perfect. So the same way that not all cops are bad, not all cops are good. You can't act like there isn't racism in the world. You can't act like there aren't power-hungry cops in the world. You can't act like there aren't cops that make mistakes and accidentally get people killed. Like, you can't just act blind to this stuff and say, oh, well, this happened. And there's cops that are going to say, oh, well, it's just a mistake and now they're mad at all of us. Understand the power you guys have. Understand that some of you guys are pride hungry and will escalate a situation for no reason and get people killed. Understand there's others that are outright racists. We talked about the black cop who killed himself because he couldn't take the racism he was seeing. I think he was in Louisiana. I mean, we talked about him. So it's like you cannot be part of any solution if all you want to do is just defend your own. And that's what we constantly see is defend your own, defend this, defend what the actions were. Just say that you're all. No. Just like we say, not all cops can be bad. The same thing works. Not all cops are good. The world is too big. There's too many cops. It's stupid. It's idiotic to just try to blanket statement defend every cop at once. Call it what it is and see it for what it's worth. When are we going to hear a chief or chief police or someone in power acknowledge there are cops that are not righteous? There are cops that as a black man, you probably should feel very fucking scared to interact with. There is a cop we know of that might accidentally shoot you thinking she's tasing you if you resist. I don't get what's so hard to understand. Like, do you think there's not racism in the world? And I never understand the concept of when people, they think they're the righteous cop. So they feel like if you're a righteous cop, then do you have fucking eyes? If you're such a good cop, a good guy, do you not have eyes? How are you just going to act like there isn't racism? Everyone you meet, every cop you'll ever meet is a great guy? Come on, dog. That's really my takeaway in this. I get that her shit was an accident. She's being charged for manslaughter. There's a picture of her now. She's in custody. $100,000 bond / $50,000 with $100,000 bond without conditions. $50,000 with conditions. Yeah. She's set to go to court. She's gonna have her day. She resigned.
Yo, the thing about like cops after they kill somebody, I hate that there is bail even for them, because if you get bail for them, that just allows them to like regroup and maybe find a loophole and find a way to get out of this.
But that's part of the legal system.
I understand. Well, sometimes I feel like maybe not in her case, but like in Derek Chauvin's case, there is bail posted and shit, so they could go and reconnect with their peoples. But for criminals, there is no bails posted depending on the crime, right?
Well, no, it's the same for everyone. So in the Constitution, you're given that right to get a bail, but you can be held without bail if they think you're a flight risk, like you're more likely to leave. But like, all right, it's like Suge Knight, he fainted in court because they gave him a $25 million bail. It was like, fam, who the fuck is gonna have $25 million? But no, it was kind of, it wasn't that. It was like within the last 5 years type shit. But sometimes they'll set a ridiculous bail for people, and the way bail works though is you pay it. But that's why people can put up their house for bail, because you get it back as long as you show back. But some people, they have no way of actually attaining that amount to put down for that time.
I thought bail worked like you go to jail and then you have a hearing, so your lawyer's like, okay, we want, like, you give your case about like, oh, this was blah blah blah, but then at the end he'll be like, okay, we want him to get a bail, and then the judge decides based off either the plaintiff or the defendant or the public officer or whatever. What are they called?
There's a defendant and then there's the prosecution.
Okay, so the prosecutor usually will make a case for them not to get bail.
Well, in a lot of cases, they make a case for what they think the bail should be. And in some cases, yeah, if they think he's a flight risk or like the guy's not going to show, like for example, like NBA YoungBoy, let him out on bail, so he was able to pay the bail. But then Louisiana had that rescinded because they took it to a judge and were like, nah, he's been talking about this, he doesn't respect the law, he won't do that. And then they rescinded his bail, so now he's still behind bars. So there's a time where it could be taken away, but
jeez. I think they should have a higher bail, because that shit is wild, especially like if it's a malicious killing, you know, like especially something like George Floyd and all that. But I just don't like that aspect that you do get time to regroup, and then you get to figure out these loopholes that you might be able to get through. And I'm just like, yo, that's kind of bullshit. A lot of people don't even get that chance. You're getting that chance because you're part of a big department and there's a code behind that department and shit like that. But I don't understand that.
Do you think she's a flight risk?
Not her personally, because like from the video, it's obvious that it did seem like an accident. It was a stupid ass mistake. 26-year-old fucking vet, and you're a field training officer. It's like, who are you teaching this shit to? You're teaching people this type of shit. It's like, I would hate to be the cop next to her, like learning
Imagine
from
he
her
was
on
on
the
training
job.
day too.
Fucking
Like,
idiot.
But what trips me out is that, you know, unlike unfortunately the George Floyd incident, you could tell that guy was a straight up. His intentions were already made. You know, as soon as he put the handcuff, his intentions were already made. But unlike, you know, and this was as Tori as well. This is something that I kind of caught up later. I wanted to not take it off social media. I wanted to really read up on it. I've been trying to just not, you know, get all my news from social media. I want to understand the other side before
not on Baller Alert.
Yeah. Or like the Shade Room or something.
Shade Room on guy. They did a good ass job though.
But yeah, shout out to those sites because they've made their platform known. But you know, looking at the video, you can tell that there was a human factor in her job, and we tend to forget. Listen, and you know, these cops, there's probably the good cops outweigh the bad cops because, you know, in my experience, this is me personally. As what Tori said, you know, as long as the cops that I've experienced that pull me over and, you know, I obeyed and stuff, I mean, it's been a pretty easy trend. But you have to kind of realize on the other side that their lives are also at risk as well. Yeah.
Bro, I had a cop that pulled me over.
Right.
Oh, I told him.
Because he was like,
that's
battery
okay.
pack
Y'all,
full.
that's y'all came.
Battery pack full. My shit got juice.
That's y'all came.
Oh,
but
shit, my bad.
But check it out. So like it's funny you say that. Like I had an experience.
Right.
I was with my girl, right? I pulled up to her school. I pulled up to get her, and then it's so funny. Like, not funny, but you ever get that feeling where a cop passes you,
right,
and you make eye contact, and you just feel like this nigga gonna stop, and then sure enough, he starts making a U-turn, and I'm in a drop-off spot, just picking her up from a college camp, UCSB college campus, right? And then I'm not gonna get into the full story, but basically, it was one of them things where it was just like a kind of a powerless feeling, and it was like nothing I had done wrong. But next thing you know, multiple cops are there. I'm getting pulled out the car. I'm sitting on the curb. She's scared, freaking out, all that stuff. I won't get. One day I'll tell y'all the story on here.
Right.
But so that happens, right? Literally the following week, I'm actually riding a little dirty. Like, I can't lie. Like, I have But the thing is, so that cop was a way that made me feel really some type of way. And the crazy thing is, right before that, she had been like recording. Because, you know, people do when they take out the window, like, oh shit.
I remember getting that snap.
And so when she starts recording, and I'm like, yo, this shit is not funny. Like, you think it's funny till you have me get out the car, right? And you know I got weed in this bitch too. Like, I don't know what like, and then next thing you know, my point could not have been proven any better. And the nigga starts grabbing me out the car and has me sit on the curb, bringing other officers, and it's like he's trying to provoke me. Then when she get like, ma'am, stay in the car. You're interfering with the individual, ma'am. And it's like all for nothing, right? It's a power thing. The following week, I'm actually riding a little dirty. I can't lie. We had a good night with some drinks involved. I knew I was good to drive, though. Drinks involved. I get stopped by an officer. Remember that song, Count Me Out, where I said, I just left SB, they got a warrant for my arrest? Yeah. It's because this officer stopped me because I stopped at a light or something. I was looking down, sees bottles in the back of my car, and had it been that other officer, I would have been fucking in a squad car, gone away. Jeez. This guy was fair as fuck. He was fair. He didn't think I had been drinking. Okay. And luckily, I told him, 'cause I was under 21, I said, I drank earlier, so like if you, like, I drank because I'm knowing if he breathalyzes me, there's gonna be something on that motherfucker. Right. So he never did that. He did cite me for the bottles and stuff, and I had to appear, but I never appeared and all that. But the thing is, he was fair, and I was thanking him, and he even let my girl come get me, come get the car for me. He said, hey man, like if you don't have a ride, we can maybe leave it here overnight.
We'll work with you. Yeah.
But like it's gonna get. And he was a great guy.
Wow.
Like he seemed, and I thanked him. Like, dude, I had a horrible experience with Officer a week ago. I just appreciate you for being fair with me. Also, you know what I'm saying? When you know you're guilty, you feeling a little nicer too. Like, don't bring up that motherfucker. You know what's funny though? At one point I was talking to him, since it had been such a long ordeal. Eventually he did check my eyes. I think because other officers were like, I don't think something might be wrong with you. Because I was telling them like I'm nervous because like I know how this shit goes. Right, so you know whatever. But the thing is, that cop was a very fair guy, and like he was nice to Nas. It was literally a week after at the same school. So it's just funny.
They were both in SB?
They were both in SB, both the exact same thing. But it's just like, but it also shows like how scary it is for us because you don't know who you're getting. You get, I mean, in some, there aren't all bad, but it's just different when your life depends on it. It's like, I made the analogy before of doctors. When we talk about bad apples, what if doctors every now and then would just kill their patients over some shit? They get mad and they just get mad in the surgery room and they kill somebody. Is that cam on? Motherfucker.
Thank God we wasn't
talking. Man, this shit falls apart when you ain't back there, man. I can't even lie, dog.
But wait, no, I want to add something to that. Hold on.
No.
Hold on. For the people that don't understand, when it comes to like the police, like it may sound like, okay, black people are coming off like emotional about it, but please understand this. Like when I was 5, like I'm sitting in the back seat hearing, you know, my mom and dad talk about pretty much like watch out for the cops. You know what I mean? Like we have a different relationship with cops. You know, and it's like at an early age you're taught to. It's either two different ways. You're just saying fuck the police, which is what a lot of like fuck them to the grave. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the other ones are like, nah, just obey and kind of just get them out the way. Like you don't really want to fuck with cops like that.
Right.
And that's a completely different relationship than like a white person who feels comfortable calling a cop, because there's so many instances where a black person will call a cop and it gets worse. Like the whole situation, like it's like, bro, don't ever call the cop, because they're gonna come here, fuck your shit up, have you in handcuffs, or maybe shoot you, which happens.
Could be your house.
It could be anything like that. So it's like it's like a cultural thing. Like the police is like it's fuck the police, fuck them. Like it's not the same for other cultures like that. So it's like it's not just they're just complaining or they're emotional. Like no, we're taught from an early age this, and that's something that's like in our subconscious. Like when we see a cop in our rear view mirror, nigga, I clench my ass. Like I can't lie. Like, I sit up straight. I turn the music down. I put my glasses on straight.
Focus
I'm like, hold
on. You gotta focus.
Get your white voice.
Yeah. Like, is my breath hot? Like let me make sure.
Make sure your smile looking nice.
And it's like it's crazy how we when any cops interacting with us, we have to like we're obviously you have the gun, fam. Like I see what happens. I don't have shit on me, but it's like we have to worry so much about their safety in terms of like I don't want to spook them and make them kill me. Like is it cool? Literally, I've been stopped before. Like I have my wallet's right in this glove compartment. Is it cool if I like I'll just reach for you? Yeah, go ahead. And I've come across a cop who let me off with a speeding ticket. He let me off. Hey man, can you drive safer for me? All right, appreciate you, brother.
Right.
And it's beautiful when you come across. I mean, and that's the thing though. The world is so big. You can't try to convince me all cops are assholes. Yeah. But you also can't convince me that the shit we see isn't real. Like. It's ridiculous the way that people argue, and I feel like sometimes we're so divided. And like you were saying, the fuck the police stuff, but a lot of that too, it comes from a specific place. Like I'm not yelling that shit today, but if I was back in the 90s and the 80s and 70s, when you see the shit that was in the way people were being policed, and way before that and if you look at how police started, it's like there's a lot of reasons why to yell that. Now I'm looking as like, man, we're so divided, and I feel like sometimes it's like, fuck. When people group up and stuff, you start hearing the more radical thing. Or like when one of us, sorry, imagine we're talking about conspiracies, right? I was talking about Pizzagate. We talked about it after the pod. I was saying there was so much merit to that, but then some people started adding so many other things that start making people not take it as seriously, right? Yeah. Like for example, the guy that pulled up to the pizza parlor, shit like that. Sometimes I think it's similar in this regard of the people who don't see eye to eye with us or don't understand what we're saying. They choose to only focus on the people that are saying all cops are assholes, all cops are bastards, all cops, like shit like that. They only focus on those people, but it's like, no, bro. It's all black people are a huge number of people, and a huge number of people that are angry, that have been killed, that have had all these horrible things happen. You need to listen to the overall message and try to understand both sides instead of just saying, oh, they hate all of us. You know they're going to get mad again. You know they're going to burn shit. They're going to loot. It's who's looting. I don't know anyone that looted. I know a lot of black people. I don't know anyone that looted. I'm like, you can't just say, oh, the BLM condones looting. Who the fuck is condoning looting? Niggas, some people are going to loot. The world is big. Black people's a big population. Don't fucking label it as everyone. Try to see what's being said. Right. Try to see what the actual issues are. These people keep getting killed. They're outraged. Historically, they're the ones that get killed the most. It's like you see case after case after case. There was that one post. It was like, I thought it was my taser. I thought he was selling illegal cigarettes. I thought his phone was a gun. I thought this was a gun. I thought his legal gun was. Like it was just a list of different excuses and not necessarily excuses, just the bullshit that goes on. So then when I saw this one, it's like, damn. another one? Like, why does it always have to be us?
How old
Yeah.
was
It's 20.
I know he was
I
really
think he was
young.
like 20, 21.
I think 20, 21.
21, man.
And you know,
That's our age, man. That's us.
That's,
you know, and you talk about how, like, the world is big, and maybe this could go into the next point of the army officer, the lieutenant who got pepper sprayed, because that cop specifically, he was probably having a shitty day, because if you look at the way he was reacting, it's like, we don't know what the fuck's going on with your day. And you might be lashing out on this motherfucker because maybe you didn't have some power in your day, maybe with your wife or some shit, you know? So you're bringing it to your job.
It's a lot of
and
power,
it's not
man.
safe to bring that shit to your job.
So I'm going to read this one off, then we'll go into that. I feel like we kind of covered most of our responses to this, but Minneapolis Police Union, their head blames Daunte Wright's death on his non-compliance.
What
Rest
the
in
fuck?
peace to Mr.
The
Wright.
quote
man.
was, "This
Rest
is
in
going to be an
peace.
unpopular statement. Daunte Wright, if he would have just complied, he was told he was under arrest. They were arresting him on a warrant for weapons. He set off a chain of events that unfortunately led to his death. He also did. I'm not excusing it, but what we're seeing is policing these days, or what we're seeing in policing these days, is that non-compliance by the public. God, is that non-compliance by the public? I think there's always been non-compliance by the public. I think they're extensively trained in how to handle non-compliance by the public, and I think it's interesting that only black people are non-stop, or not non-stop, but the ones we're seeing get killed, it's always black people that are being non-compliant. You see the fucking pictures of the white dudes chasing cops with knives. They're backing up so to do everything they can not to shoot the guy. You've seen the one where the guy has his gun drawn and the cop has his shit in the holster and he's like that.
Seriously,
It's some different shit, but it's the same thing with the nightclub, bro. If you a bouncer and your job is to handle people, you're trained to do that, de-escalate it, and you go and fuck someone up, and you're like, but you know, if he hadn't started the fight, nigga, you're here for when he does start the fight. That's part of your job, you dumbass.
You're
Like,
de-escalate.
yeah,
right.
de-esculate.
Yeah.
You can't go and make shit worse.
You're the calm one in the situation.
Yeah, and
Supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild. I can't believe.
Which
they
leads me
tried
to
put
question
it.
is like, and she was 26 years. I know this was the tail end, but it's like, you know, what's going on with the training then? Because you're trained for that specific moment. Like, you know, it's it's
but
like
that's like I don't even understand
In
how that
in
shit
her
happened.
case,
Yeah.
it's a fucking.
I mean, it's a
mistake,
real,
you know?
it's a
like-
mistake, but at the same time,
It's a stupid
it's a mistake that, you know, takes someone's life in a way.
Yeah, that's
And it's like at that point in time, you know, you're meant for that situation. A mistake could be getting shot in the leg and he ends up living, but now you have a mother that can't even see her son get married. You know,
He got a son himself. It's fucking crazy.
But you know, it just leads me to say, it's, you know, where is our money going to if these trainings aren't appropriate enough to the point where last year wasn't an example of what needs to be done, and it's still
Is that a question of training, or is it just kind of like the law of large numbers? Because think about it, it's like we don't highlight the good cases, we don't
Right,
highlight the successful de-escalations.
Absolutely.
It's only going to be when
Yeah.
something bad happens.
I think it's
And then,
hard for
you know,
things to get better if no one's actually focusing on a fix. They're just saying
Right.
like, well, look at all the, because it's like, yeah, like what you're saying is true, exactly. Like, I'm sure there are a lot of times where it works, and it's like them saying we've tried to enhance our procedures, fam. But then they'll also come in court. Yeah, that was not our procedures. When this nigga's kneeling on a guy's neck for all that time. So it's like, just acknowledge that there is an issue among just cops. People have prejudice. How come when it was me and my friends in a car smoking weed or whatever, the cops seem nervous? Why is he nervous? We're kids. We're fucking scared. Why are you nervous? Then I seen the same kids, a group of white kids, they get stopped. Dude, we had bongs in the car, bro. Like, the cop just started laughing, dude. Like, he didn't give a fuck, bro. Like, they were so chill with us. This nigga was nervous with me. Like, but no, again, it's different cops.
The nervousness, I understand that aspect because of the shit that they probably see on the daily basis. It's
fuck
like,
that. So you get to treat me differently because you've seen other black people do stuff?
No, I'm not even saying other black people. Just think about the shit that they got to go through themselves. Like, you got a job where you're fucking.
Most cops never fire their guns.
Right.
In their whole careers. So most cops aren't seeing that stuff day. They're not getting people pulling guns.
You don't know what was happening with that cop. What if his prior week he probably had a shitty week about like with people. Maybe he did have to draw his gun. It's like there's like levels to this shit about that. You know what I mean? Cause
it's not excusable that.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying, like you said, different cop, different scenario. That's not excusable. Like, you should not take your ego, or you shouldn't. You probably shouldn't, or like really shouldn't. But like, or your problems to work. You know what I mean? But you do make a good point of like, I'm sure like if you're working as a cop in a certain area, you see just you're just surrounded by it. So it's like
factor,
you're automatically going to
Yeah.
be inclined to think, oh, this is probably just another perp, another, you know what I'm saying, suspect,
Right.
because that's all I see. I'm looking at the bottom of, not the bottom of the bottom, but the bottom of the bottom all
Right,
day.
right,
But like
right.
your scenario, Santa Barbara. Kid, you know, it's
Yeah.
like, bro, you should
Yeah,
have
next to the
that
beach and everything.
mental cognizance to say like, nah, that me in this being confrontational or me being more like conflicting shouldn't be there. You know what I mean? Now, if I'm down in the trenches, maybe I should kind of be a little more vigilant about, you know, where I'm looking at, popping my head up because I'm around it. But y'all both making pretty much good points.
And you make an interesting fact, because do you think the training now should be based on the environment? Do you think that should be the major influence as far as how the training is conducted?
Well,
based on
I feel like
that should be a part of it. Because,
Right.
But the thing is you have cops who don't grow up in that environment, policing that environment. So now it's like a cop from the suburbs who is now getting thrown in the hood is going to have a completely different.
Is that the way they evaluate where cops go? Is it just based on, you know, where they train
It's
and
not.
you
It's
know?
wherever. Yeah, whatever you
Okay.
get. Like
Yeah, like,
So they send you to specific areas, not based on where you know.
No.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if you have a cop that doesn't understand the area, you don't understand the people, you
Right.
don't understand the nuances, you don't understand
Well, yeah,
any of the ins and outs of how it works, like the lingo of that area, you're gonna have a different perspective.
Your human factor comes in where you're protective of your own self rather than
exactly. I want to go home to my safety in my
Right,
space, but I'm
right.
over here working with you.
And we forget that.
And-
we
so-
sometimes forget that.
Well,
too.
but we can say that, and it's like you're almost saying it. You're showing that it's true. Like they are humans in the sense of like, you know, there are different environments, and that's realistic in terms of where you're from. How come the cops can't acknowledge that?
Right.
How come they can't?
yeah.
But how come it can't be acknowledged? Like even that, because that you're almost not defending, but you're painting a picture that is accurate in my opinion. Like in terms of if you're from an area you're not from, and that might be another problem of they're policing neighborhoods they're not from and stuff
Right.
like that. But it's like, have you ever heard a cop talk about that? Like, hey, maybe the people in this neighborhood, like these interactions just aren't going very well. Maybe we need to try to like, how do we get it so that people don't feel? But it's different when it's a power thing. When it's a power and we need to bow down, you meet a lot of cats, they're not gonna do that. Like you trying to tell the way that I was treated that day. That's man, and it was crazy after that. Seeing how upset my girl was. I was pissed off, obviously, but she was like, I'd never seen no shit like that before. Like, and it's like the way I'm thinking is like, bro, I know niggas that would have gotten hurt. Like they would have gotten, because they wouldn't.
Like, you ain't gonna emasculate me.
Exactly that, and it's the craziest feeling when you got to tell your girl to chill. Like, don't say nothing. Just don't say nothing to them. Don't say like you trying to tell her tuck your tail. It's only gonna get worse. Trust me. The best thing we could do is just get out of here. This shit's already fucked. We gotta get out of here. You got it on film. That's great. Let's get out. If we get out of here, that's the W for the day. We can go on with our day. But it's like a lot of cats. You know how people are thinking, especially if you're not thinking like that. Especially you don't know what surroundings you coming up in. Not every dude is just liking being manhandled. Not every dude's step out the car for me, sir. For what? Step out the car and I'll tell you. Step out the car. Get out. The guy we're about to talk about, the Army lieutenant. Can you just tell me what's going on? Get out of the car. Get the fuck out of the car. You're gonna get tased. He gets pepper sprayed in his face. Like certain cats, they're not going to listen for whatever reason. And I hate seeing it when they're not, because I'm like, for your own safety, bro. Please just listen. The gentleman who got shot in the back, I wish I could remember the name. He was carrying a knife. It was last year. Shot in the back by the officer. That one, just watching it hurt, because I'm like, no. Because you know what's happening while you're watching it. Yeah. So I'm just like, bro, no, please. Just listen to him. And I'm never on the side of blame, because it's not your fault. But at the same time, we know how it is. You know you could get killed, bro. Just listen. Just listen, bro, because you're not going to be able to outrun them anyways. Yeah. They going to get the bird on you anyway. By the time it's a conversation of getting arrested and they on you, there's not much you could do. They already called the squad car. You black. Yeah. They have 2 cars on you. Like, it's some different shit, man. All right, let's get in this lieutenant. Look, we don't got to go crazy long. I feel like everything we're going to say is kind of applicable. But Virginia police officer fired after black Army lieutenant is pepper sprayed and handcuffed during a traffic stop. If you watch it, it's pretty fucked up, man. It's another thing of like respect. If you that cop and the man is asking you like, just please tell me what is going on. Tell me what is going. It's very clear to see where your head is at when someone asks you what's going on, and it's there again, they don't acknowledge how much power they have. You're telling a grown ass man who serves the country, you're yelling at him, get out the car. He's sitting there calmly recording, saying, yo, tell me what's going on. Could y'all I'm really scared right now. Could y'all tell me what's going on? Get out the car. You don't know how to obey. You can see how he was doing them. It's just like, understand the power y'all have. If you're a righteous one, understand that. And some of the ones that come off nice, that are good, it's like they have that understanding. It seems like they could tell when I'm telling them, oh, I'm gonna reach my wallet. No, you could, like, yeah, no problem, bro. Grab it. I appreciate that. I've gotten that vibe before from the guy that let me go. He was, and I had, like, my window was fucked at the time, a little broke at the time. My window was fucked, so I had to open up this one. I'm like, sorry about that, officer. You know what I'm saying? This, and he was cool, and he's like, no problem, bro. Grab it. Yeah. And he was chilling. Wow. Even that feeling of like, damn, he ain't treating me like. Then I'm like, do I look soft? What the fuck? He not scared.
How was looking today?
I'm like, this nigga acting like.
I got a knife, you know. I got a knife.
I'm like, seriously? I can grab anything, motherfucker.
I got some ARs in the trunk, you know. Just to let them know.
It did mean something.
That's so fucking funny. Yo, with the officer and the lieutenant, like, if somebody is telling you they are scared,
right,
like, you're not gonna. Exactly. It's not like he's just staying silent and he's not saying anything. He's asking questions and he's telling you how he's feeling. Yeah. You know, because you're yelling at the dude. The dude doesn't know what the fuck you're even stopping him for until, like, you guys are already hot. Yeah. Like, there's no reason to be hot for a fucking traffic stop.
And in their fairness, I watched the entire thing and then I saw the conversations they were having afterward.
It was all calm and shit.
It was calm and he's like, no, I know you're scared because there's BLM stuff going on. But they were upset because they were saying, I guess when they had stopped him, he kept driving for like a while.
Mile and a half, yeah.
For like a mile. But he kept driving for a while because he said he was trying to find a brighter lit spot. Yeah. Regardless of that, let's say I'm the officer. It's all about pride. If you finally stop, I get if you pull up with the guns out, you're like, what's up with you? I don't know. Yeah. But as soon as you doing all this, hey, bro, look, you didn't stop after a minute, man. It's throwing us off. Could you please step out the car, sir?
Ease
like,
off a little.
Even if you give him that respect, give him some respect. But if it's all about pride and you just obey my order, so the military didn't teach you how to obey orders. He's like, I'm a veteran too. It's like, bro, if you try to communicate with someone in a way that they will comply, sometimes, nigga, I want to be. I feel like, nigga, if I didn't do none of this shit I did, I could have two lives at once. I want to change shit. Like I know that I could have interactions with so many black kids, like the ones I've come across. I've come across very bad ones too, definitely. But the ones the two I've come across that were cool, that meant something to me. And I know I can mean something to people. Like, that's why if cops knew the power they had, dude, if you feel like cops are being attacked, then you better be the ones showing kids that it ain't all like that. You see the ones playing basketball with kids, dicing up kids dope in the hood. Yeah, that's real shit right there, man.
That's community, man. That's like really bringing the community together, too.
But those cops need to, instead of saying, like, see, cops aren't bad, man. Don't listen to what you hear on the news. Stop saying that shit, man. Just say, bro, not like, hey, man, like, just know not all cops are bad, but I acknowledge that there are. Like, it's an ugly world, man. Like, every job you find, you're gonna find people that are assholes in it. You're gonna find people that are pride driven, especially one where you get to have a badge, be damn near above the law, basically, because you're the one asserting the law and shit like that. And you get to carry a gun and tell imagine you a kid, right? You grew up in, name like a white ass. You grew up in Sherman Oaks. Went to school, you went to Notre Dame High School. Now you become a cop. Now you in South Central and a real nigga. You talking to a real nigga, bro. Like, this nigga, and you telling him what to do? Yeah. Imagine the power you know you have. I could go to the biggest gang member and tell him what to do. And if he don't want to listen, nigga, I'll turn up too. I got it like that, nigga. I'll tell him I'm going to get off. I'm going to go off on him. I'm going to beat his ass. I'll hold his ass down, tase him. I could do whatever I want to him. Find the hardest gang member. He going to listen when I come around, or he going to get killed. It's a big world, man.
I think with this one was such a hard watch.
Right. I know.
Just because it's like, but I mean, with this one,
nice.
Hey, but good to know. Blink it out with pepper spray. That's the only cure. Because he said the water will fuck you up. Because they got him water. Yeah. He's like, it's only gonna reactivate it. He's like, then they started trying to help him. That's why it's like, people don't get the power they have. Because even them, they still think they're right and they're talking to him. See, man, why'd you have to make it such a big ordeal? Why did you? Like, why did you pepper spray?
I don't know, but this one though, my conspiracy is tingling with this one.
I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Go for it.
I think it's a psyop.
You got fired, by the way.
I think this one's a psyop.
What?
It's like a psychological operation, pretty much, that the government started testing like on its people just to see like how far they can go with fucking them up mentally and shit. And like they would test out different. I'm not explaining it perfectly, right. But look up psyops. Like it's a real thing. You know, you can look up the government doing stuff like that. But in this regard, it's like you have a black lieutenant, right? And you don't know his name. They don't tell you his name. They dehumanize him by not telling him. They do that on purpose, though, by not giving you his name. The whole time he's sitting there, he's compliant. He sets his phone up, right? I'm pretty sure the cop saw the phone, right? Like, I don't.
Yeah, I feel like
the cop has to see the phone.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
He said, I see your phone.
Right. So he sees the phone. the cop is not explaining to him what's going on. So I see the phone, but I'm going to continue to just kind of rah-rah and yell at you.
Escalate things.
Right. He's talking about a taser. He's like, yo, you can ride the lightning. He's threatening him now. He said that. He was like, something about ride the lightning. Something like that. So he threatens him, right? The dude is like, oh, my dog. He's like, so he's the good black guy. And you know what I'm saying? This is like an emotional pull. Like, that's what like a psyop in this situation will kind of work out as. Now, I don't know, but this one, it's just too much of an emotional pull that just didn't make logical sense of like, you are a vet cop or you are a cop. What fucking stop goes like? And you had the younger dude who's cool, you know, like he was kind of like not trying to interfere with his older dude or something like that, but I don't know. And then the way they put him on the ground, it's like my dog can't breathe, and it's just so hard to watch. It's like
the whole thing.
The whole thing is hard to watch, but I don't know. I think
let's not dehumanize him. Let's give him his name.
What's his name?
Karen Nazario.
That's his name.
That's the lieutenant's name.
The lieutenant.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's Karen.
What is that? The cop's name?
No, the
Did I give a fucked up
honestly,
name? Yo?
When you first said that name, I was like, oh, that's.
I was like, no way, that's a name too. No,
that's his name. That's the lieutenant's name. That's so he's black and Latino. But Daniel Crocker is the officer.
Okay, makes sense.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. The lieutenant's name. Cool.
Daniel Crocker.
Bro, not gonna lie, you're riding the lightning wave or the lightning rod?
You about to ride the lightning?
Not gonna lie, that is pretty witty. Can't even lie.
He will ride the lightning.
That's a major pause right there, man. Come on.
Bro,
ride the lightning. No, I think they really be saying that shit though. Like one of them cops.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that as a cop thing. But yo,
nigga,
like,
don't tell
I
me
bet they can tell. Like, I bet they be joking around about that type of shit.
Yeah,
that's
probably some bad cop jokes.
I just feel like just de-escalate the situation and then ask you questions because it's it's
de-escalating. So like if you say some shit to me, imagine I'm not a cop, but I'm telling you to do something and you say something to me, right? You're not listening.
Right.
Me, I'm not gonna de-escalate. I'm gonna be like, what the fuck are you doing, right? You tripping.
Are you the cop?
No, I'm just saying if you and I in general, say I'm not a cop.
Okay.
I'm like, what's up then? Like if you have an issue, right?
Right.
Why is that? Even if say I'm thinking we're trying to film a pod, right?
Yeah.
And you're doing this extra shit. Mm-hmm. You know what would it take for me to de-escalate it? It would be I'd have to remove my pride and be like, you know what, Mel? Why don't we talk about this separately? I'm not gonna sit here and get into with you, whatever. That would be pride. Right. At the same time, I'm with them. Mm-hmm. I have pride. So at the same time, I might be, no, what are you talking about? What you mean you're not going to whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what that takes, right? To de-escalate something, you have to lose pride. So I'm saying in the same manner, that's what it takes for officers. That's what I'm saying. No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that's what it takes for officers. For you to de-escalate, you gotta. It has to be a part of you has to lose that pride and see the bigger picture. I'm an officer of the law. I already know I'm the one with the gun. I'm the one with the taser. I'm the one that basically has to force this man to comply with whatever I say. If they could remove some of that pride and say, all right, he didn't listen. I might feel a little bothered by it. Right. But let's see if we can get him to comply. Hey, sir, look, I don't want to take this any further than you do, man. I know you're upset. Like what? There's different shit, and I get when it comes to the safety thing and they gotta pounce like that. Fine, if it's safety, it's safety. Like if I was a cop, yeah, I'm worried about my safety too. If it gets like that, but I'm saying. In so many of those situations, it's the pride. Like if you a cop, you sitting there yelling back at a nigga.
It was just a big ass goal.
Yeah, that's why I was just like,
you was just.
Hey man, he was spitting.
Picked it up. No, it was the funniest.
I'll listen back.
I definitely understand what you're saying, and I think the important part for this message is realizing that there is a problem. Like and I think that's the biggest part is realizing it, and
we can't even come to that agreement.
That's the fucked up part. Like because I guess for the cops to work, I guess they have to have that code that we have all the power, or like we're perfect, or we always are in the right. That's like the idea behind, like, that's why all the police officers are behind them and all this type of shit. It's just weird. I just hope that more officers could stand up and point out what's wrong.
The police have a fraternal order though, so it's kind of like they have gangs in the police. You feel me? Like that's like a thing that's come out. Like a lot of there'll be like departments or something like that, and they have gangs within them, or they have a fraternal order within the police.
There's also
I feel like that's anything.
SWAT's good wearing ass motherfucking gangs. Yeah, there's literally white supremacist gangs in the police department.
They got the little bolts for the Nazis and shit.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's been you can look up the cases. It's not like there's hella like LAPD got hella gang, but there's been cases of like things that have come out of like cop gangs type shit or cop hate groups type shit. It's I mean, there were some cops at the Capitol shit, so it's. And there's a lot of cops trying to. All right, fuck it. I think.
Girl, I'm off the drugs right now. I could use your love right now, but they steady trying to tear me down.